chain housing. Alright. Move that over here. And then the Minjo. Put these tools here so we don't lose them in the soil. Dig on the cover. Eat the heck. There. See? There. That's what you gotta get out next time. See, when you see lots of red here, that means your oil is working good. You don't want to see white in here. And you don't want to put the oil into the ground. So, and over the fire. And a quick brushing. Oh, your oiler's working real good. That's key. That's good in here, man. Now digging out the chain. The reason why I like to hang my chain up immediately is because you get those tangles in them, you can't get them out. You know when they... That sucks.
Yes, it does.
And this is the part in here that does the damage. And we're just... Wait. No. Oh, got it. Now it comes out right on. There's your oiler. And that's the area you want to keep clean, that little oiler. Can you see here? When that blops. And you see, correct chain tension is good, because if you have your chain too tight, that little cog, you'll eat holes in it.
Okay.
You'll wear a groove in it like a V, and then your chain will slip. And then to change that is just nastiness. Because that's your centrifugal clutch. And there's your... Yeah, that's pretty good. And you know what, for the time it takes, Paul, you always check your heat fins here. They don't get plugged with the sawdust, because that's your cooling, right?
Okay.
And just like that, for the time it takes, it's just so worth it. And basically, you just want all the wood-borne material to... Now, which way does this go? Like that? Yeah. And I usually just get a thing. There's a pressure. And good. Then we clean out our bar. And that's the secret, is to clean these grooves out. Because these grooves is where your oil travels. And when you got sludge in there, it stops the oil really getting to the part of the chain where it needs it. And the reason why I keep rotating your blade is so you don't wear a banana in here. Because then when to tighten the chain to make it look like it's tight, you're putting so much pressure on the chain, you're eating grooves into the teeth of your drive wheel. See what I'm saying? And that is what costs money, because that, especially on these saws, well, this one's not bad to change, but you need pulley. It's just more work than it has to be, and it's just avoidable. It's just needless grief that is highly avoidable. So I'm going to keep that upside down. And then you just grab your chain. And for the time it takes and the grief it can save, and you just make sure your teeth always are pointing in the right direction, because you can't cut running backwards. So you want the sharp edge of your teeth, and these are your rakers, you want them pointing forward. And it's just a matter of there we go. And you just then slip on your housing, make sure it's nice and clean. And like for how the amount of time this takes, unless you have a fetish for buying chains and bars, and or like keeping one, keep cool in business. Just clean that out a little bit. Just give it a good brushing. Air works better, but that's okay. And it's just, even in the instruction book, it says maintain your saw. That's what 3/4 of the manual is about, is saw maintenance. And you put down there. Okay. Yay. Alright. There you go. And you kind of start your nuts. Okay. This one is so easy because the chain brake is part of a contained unit, separate normally in the housing, and that makes them very difficult to put on. That's what my Husqvarna is bad for. Is just spend more time trying to get the chain brake back on. And so, okay. Now you see that working away. And the secret is too tight a chain or too loose a chain. And if you have the chain too tight, the groove in here, it will funnel it, turn it into a V. And at that point, you just, your saw is basically ruined. And you just slowly tighten it. And then when you just see, no, it's too tight. You just want it so it's like kissing somebody. You don't want it too hard. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
Brian.
Yeah, just a sec.
You want some socks?
Yeah, please.
Here.
Thank you. Good. And. That's going to stretch it. That's good. And we final tightening. And if you look on your clock, now one more little thing. I'll be back in 1 second.
Get a little documentary here. It's very nice that he's taking care of the chainsaw here. My name is Paul.
He left.
And the secret is every day before you start, so yeah. Now, one thing is people don't realize regular bearing grease is just as good. Intense service or whatever, but bearing grease is just as good rather than beating. And come on. There. Oops. And the biggest part is when the most neglected part is your nose sprocket. And a little hole here, keeping it permanently vertical.
I see how it is.
On the other side. Oh, look at that. See, that's lovely. You wanted to see it come out both sides. One of these tubes. Oh, here.
You can see the back of his head.
Up here. And the excess. Don't be shy just to smear the grease over, because you overheat your chain and it becomes a carbide blade that you can't sharpen. And like that, you're ready to go in the bush and you don't have to worry about the chain popping off and walking back for an hour. It's how to protect an investment by just disposing on, of course, carry your guard on to keep dirt off your chain. Dim-witted simpletons sharpen their chain in the dirt, thinking it's 60 grit. And just like that, you have your tools. Oh, we're going to shut. Do you want to do the idle speed now? Yeah. Okay, let's do the idle speed. Okay, so it says what? Prime 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 full choke. Pull the switch. Oh, I don't know what this.
Let's try it out.
Yeah. Can you pull that switch on for me?
She's ready to go?